Banky special.
Yeah.
Pure deliciousness.
Pure deliciousness, man. My name is Banky, man. Everybody calls me Banky. That's the name that I got from my grandmother when I was young. I'm coming out here after 30 years. Yeah, I ain't got nothing, but I'm gonna have something because I'm rich in personality, you know, and I'm rich in love. My family love me, and that's really all that counts. Yeah, I'm like 5 years, man. Y'all late, but I'm saying this in my head, not out loud to them. But, you know, I told y'all about how I eventually got caught. I'll get to that when I get down the line. But, you know, that just woke me up, though, man. Like I say, it made me be aware of my surroundings even more than I was. And I just try to stay on point. And for the most part, I did. And, you know, I was getting by, man. It was just the institution itself, man, had got so, you know, outrageous, so buck wild, man. It just was a lot going on at the time, man. Them young cats, man, on there learning how to do time. Now they just, you know, they toting that Bethlehem, you know, they flashing it on people and not using it. Definitely nothing that you should ever do. That's the best way to get yourself killed. If you pull it, you should use it. If not, it should never be seen unless it's gonna be used. So all of that was going on, which kept the police on point, kept them running in, kept them doing a lot of shakedowns. Sometimes, man, the dudes would get to fighting in the block so much that, you know, dudes go in the cell and rumble, but they come out and they knot it all up, man, looking like the Elephant Man and stuff. So when the COs see them and then they pull up on them, they take them to the administration and they tell them, ain't nothing happened to me, whatever. This is on the basketball court or any other type of lie they tell. Man, the people would end up taking them, man, and locking them up for investigation. And then they start locking the pods and stuff down. Or we gonna lock the pod down for 2 or 3 days trying to intimidate people into telling what happened. You know, most of the time ain't nobody say nothing because they knew if they'd said something, somebody was gonna pinpoint who it was who said something. So you had a lot of that going on during this time, man. It was a lot of little fights, man. It was going in cells, you know, jumping dudes, you know, banging them up, you know, especially a lot of them gang members. You know what I'm saying? So it was crazy, man. It just was a crazy scene. And man, I can remember too, you had a lot of that fighting too was going on with them young dudes, man. They young and they already into the foolishness. You had a lot of them young dudes. They was getting involved, you know, with them boys and stuff. And then that was causing feuds because this dude might got the boy and then these other dudes want the boy. So dudes was fighting over boys. And I mean, you know, it was outrageous, man. It was just like, I'm watching all of this unfold and I'm watching the penitentiary, you know what I'm saying, change right before my eyes. You know what I'm saying? I'm watching it change right before my eyes. But at the time, I'm not really acknowledging the change. I'm just a part of it and I'm watching it. But, you know, now looking back on retrospect, this was when the penitentiary started to change. You know, was when the gangs was really, really infiltrating themselves into the system where you were seeing more and more young dudes in there on foolishness. Dudes was, you know, getting high on there. So that was a big thing too, because the dude who might get the package, you know, if he wasn't man enough to hold it or he didn't have a strong team, you know, the gang dudes was coming and take it. The gang dudes was coming and take that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Or trying to extort you. You see what I'm saying? So that's just how it went, man. And I'm sitting in the cut, man, all the time, just nervous, trying to stay out of the way, trying not to voice my opinion too much. As long as it ain't nothing come directly to me or directly at me, then, you know what I'm saying, I just did my bit. You know, stayed on the phone, you know, was getting whatever you call it, copper tunnel, you know, using the phone so much. And by this time too, it had came, you know, to my knowledge, man, by talking to my people on the street about, you know, they kept on saying, I wish I could send you, man, pictures and stuff and videos and stuff. So, like I said, the first phone I had was pay per minute phone, and I always had, you know, my cousin and somebody put money on the phone, so I kept it up. So I was like, videos and all, and I didn't even know you could get all of that. So then when I did find out that I could get all of that too, I was like, man, well, I need to upgrade. I need to, you know what I'm saying? I need to get that kind of phone. You know what I'm saying? So my cousin was like, look, I got you. You know what I'm saying? Send the same people at me. I'll get you a new one. So he ended up getting me a new one. And man, it just got worse because when I had that, it was like the whole, man, it was just different. Way different, you know what I'm saying? If we out here in the street, y'all know about the phone now. Having that little bit of phone with those little bit of qualities versus being able to have that type of phone and being able to do all the things that I was able to do with that phone, you know, get videos in, you know, go all on the internet, watch anything that I wanted to watch. It was just crazy, man. It was just, you know, even put more significance on the phone than I was putting on it at first. Now it was like, you know, priority number one. I cannot lose this. I gotta have it. I was addicted to it. It ain't no need to nickname it. I was addicted to the phone, you know, and to be able to get them to even take little videos when they go out and stuff and be able to watch that and see that, to be able to get do whatever they call like the video, the FaceTime, and just show you the whole house and show you the cars and show you things that, you know, the neighborhood or places that you hadn't seen in decades or years and stuff. So man, I was just I was all in with that, man, and it was just crazy to me, you know. So like I said, man, to be able to, when I got to that point when I had exchanged the phone, I had, you know, didn't even know all of these things was even capable. And then when I did know that, like I say, that made me want to protect the phone even more. And then, you know, dealing with the dudes, my celly, he was the only one that knew I had the phone. So he had access to all this stuff as well. And like I said, I don't know if he ever really told anybody when we was in there, you know, long term down the line. When I found out what he did, he probably did, but I never knew about it. So that probably was some of the reasons too. That might have slipped out where the people that came to me, because he had let his, you know, tongue slip, you know, because like I say, having something like that, dudes be so excited about it and they want to tell somebody. But always wanting to tell somebody what you got going on is never a good thing, man. You know, when you got something good going on, you keep it to yourself. That's the only way you'll be able to keep it, you know. So like I say, I was in that zone, man, with the phone and just watching my surroundings and seeing what was going on around me. I can remember when they had Polo, man. They had an old dude in there named Polo, man. And he was one of the barbers as well, man. Thought he was a slick old dude or whatever. And I can remember they brought a little young white homosexual in the park. And nobody, as far as me, I didn't know. I don't know what anybody else knew. But I didn't even know Polo was into that. But obviously he was, because, man, from the time they brought him in there, so many of them little young dudes was trying to talk to him, trying to get him or whatever. And then Polo, he the number one dude. He, you know, getting them commissary, talking to him, trying to go eat with him. Everybody's trying to woo and the new little young homosexual. And Polo is the front runner. So Polo ended up getting with the homosexual. Though. He ended up moving the homosexual in the cell with him. So now they sellers and everything, and this is supposed to be his peoples. So they used to be in there, man, after they was in there for about a month or two, couple of months, man, they used to be arguing. You used to hear them arguing all the time. And then when Polo was working, doing his, you know, cutting hair or whatever, the homosexual would go out on the yard and other dudes was trying to talk to him. Other dudes was trying to tell him, you don't need to be with that chump, you need to be with me, da-da-da-da. And he had this one in particular dude who was trying to get him named West. And West fashioned himself as a gangster, you know, and he had a little mob that he rolled with, a little clique that he rolled with. So every day on the yard, you would see Polo would be in there working and West would be outside talking to the peoples. So the people was getting more and more familiar with West, and somehow, some way, the word got back to Polo. So Polo started questioning the people about him out there talking to the dude West. So evidently the people was denying it, and then next thing you know, man, Polo started beating the people, man, started whooping them. You know, you see him and make him stay in the cell. He couldn't even come out the cell. You know, couldn't go to eat, couldn't go nowhere. He had to stay in the cell while Polo was back there working. And then Polo came out there and he was outside that cell, even going to the microwave. Later on, when they locked in the cell and the police finished walking around, that's all you heard was boom, 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 beat him up, you know. So he made him stay in the cell also, too, because he was beating him up and he was bruised up. So I told you, when you bruised up and the police see you, then they go automatically take you over to the administration building and ask what's going on with you. So he had to stay in the cell because he was bust up, and he was staying in the cell because Polo told him to stay in the cell. So this guy, West, you know, wondering where the people at, because now he used to see the people, now he can't see the people. So the party we was in, Polo then was on the bottom floor. When you go outside for rec, you can actually walk all the way around to the window and talk straight to the window. It's on floor level. You can talk right through the window to people. Look in the cell, talk to somebody straight through the window. So now, while Polo was at work, the people was talking to West in the window. So he didn't even have to go outside. He just talking to him through the window every day. You know what I'm saying? So evidently, West had seen him all beat up and everything, and was telling him, man, you know, he did you like that, you know, you ain't got to be with him. You can go ahead and leave him. All you got to do is tell me the word that you going to be with me, and you ain't even got to worry about how I handle that chump. He ain't nobody. He ain't nothing anyway. He a P-U-S-S-Y. He should be a girl himself, and all of this stuff. West giving him all the gangster talk, trying to give him the courage enough to leave Polo, which he know by all the whoopings he done took. If he try to leave Polo, he gonna leave by taking another whooping or whatever. He might get that Bethlehem because he's stuck in the cell with him. He can't get out. You know what I'm saying? In order for him to leave, he got to talk to the people. He try to, you know, get some type of transfer or something. If he go any other way by checking in or something like that, they gonna want to know what's going on, and they gonna put him in jail. Then he ain't, you know what I'm saying, guaranteed when he get out of jail to come back on this side, because he's telling the people that something is wrong. So that way he wouldn't even be able to be with Polo or West. You see what I'm saying? So he had to find a way to break it to Polo that he wanted to get out the cell and go be with West. So while all this is going on, somebody done told Polo too that, you know, now your peoples be talking to the dude out the window. So Polo get wind of that he talking to the people out the window. So Polo come back from work early one day and come and just bust in the cell, and the people try to get away from the window. So Polo go to the window, look out the window, he see West walking away. So he holler and say something to West like, yo, you here talking to my peoples, man, stay away from the window. You know what I'm saying? My peoples ain't got nothing to do with you, man. These my peoples right here, da 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 da. West, you know, come back to the window and tell him, man, if people don't want to be with you, people trying to be with me, you need to go ahead and let them move out the cell. You know what I'm saying? If not, when you come out on the yard, I got to have you. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to do this to you. I'm going to do that. And you ain't do nothing to me. Oh, yes, I am. Come out on the yard. I be out there tonight. You come out there tonight. You know what I'm saying? So they beefing. They hollering over the peoples, right? So now when they leave and, you know, they lock up for counting everything, man, Polo, he beat the boy, man, so bad, man, that you could hear him in there hollering and screaming. I thought they was going to get tore off because I thought the police was going to come by because there was so much noise. You know, then when the doors open, we probably got about 30 minutes before we go out for rec. You know, we going out on the night rec. Man, the doors open, Polo come out there, he got towels and sheets and everything. It's all bloody, and he got them all wrapped up, trying to sneak them to the garbage can to throw them in the garbage can for the police can see him. So when you see all these bloody rags and everything, people looking, you know, because people paying attention, people like, man, Polo done killed the people up in there. Because you don't see them, they don't come to the door, they don't come out or nothing. You just know you heard all this rumbling and tussling and bustling in there, and then he come out with all these bloody rags, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, he done killed the people in there, man. So it was crazy. So now he's supposed to go outside for rec, to see West, to confront West. So people going outside because everybody know what's going on, you know, and that's penitentiary. Just like everywhere in life, people love drama, you know. So, man, we go outside for outside rec, man. I'll never forget it, man. I was out there myself. I was with a homeboy, we walking the yard. So on this yard that we own, the big yard over in the corner is a long way where you walk the yard and you coming around and it comes up to a point right here, but that's way back in the corner. Now mind you, we outside at night wreck. Ain't no police out there or nothing. You know, they at the front gate, they let us in and out. Ain't no police out there, so you got hundreds of dudes out here on the yard and it's nighttime. So we walking there in that way, and about 30 feet in front of us, we see Polo walking down there, and West is at the end. So I guess he going to confront West with whatever they want to do. West got his homeboys down there, about 3-4 of them. So as we coming up, me and Dude coming up, we see them, and we just stop when we get probably about 10, 15 feet away from them, and they talking it out. First they arguing. West being belligerent, he trying to be diplomatic. He saying to people's ears he ain't gonna let go. West saying he taking them, people don't want to be with you. So then they tell me, let's rumble. So they gonna rumble now. So they say, all right, well, let's rumble. You gonna give me a fair one? Yeah, let's fight straight up. We gonna, you know, boom, they gonna fight straight up. So man, next thing you know, Polo stepped to him. Polo way bigger than him. West slim, trim, probably about 5'10", slim, about 150, 160. Polo kind of stocky, you know, probably about 5'10", but he built, he stocky, he done worked out. So they clench up like they gonna rumble. So neither one of them look like they can fight to me. So they get swinging at each other, boom, boom. Couple of connects. Next thing you know, they get to swinging again. And then you see West just start, boom, they lock up and grab each other. So you see West start hitting them in the side, So then you hear Polo hollering, you got a knife, And West just poking them, bang, bang, bang. And Polo just hollering, he got a knife. He like, he got a knife. And it's like, that's one of the worst things that can happen to you, man. If you get to rumbling with somebody, you think you in a straight up fist fight, and next thing you know, they got that Bethlehem out and you getting poked. So it was just crazy, man. We sitting there looking at the whole thing. So then Polo just push away from him and start take off running. First, West chased him for probably about 10 yards, chasing him. He was running, he couldn't catch him. He stopped and he just kept on running. Polo hollered to him, yeah, you better not come back. You better not come, and you better not touch them peoples. You better not do nothing to them. I'm gonna kill you. So he running, he like, all right. So when he ran, he got enough distance away from him where he see that West won't chasing him no more. So he stopped and started walking. As he stopped and started walking, now I know this ain't funny, but this is the funniest part to me. As he stopped and started walking, one of West's homeboys is walking up the way, coming up there. And he had just heard, I had never heard of this before. First time I ever heard of it in my life was with him. He was a dude that was in the block with us too, but he was one of West's closest partners. Real little dude though, right? But he had went to sleep one night and woke up and his whole mouth was twisted, right? And they said that, you know, he had to go to, MCV, the hospital and all of this. Was gone for a couple of days, came back, his mouth was still twisted up. And they said it's something called Bell's palsy. You know, it's akin to cerebral palsy. But they say, it can happen to you in your sleep, and it happened to him. And it was just crazy, man. It just twisted his mouth up as if he had a stroke. So he walking up there, and he see Polo coming back to him, and Polo's hollering back at the dude, something, all right, I got you, like I'm gonna get you, but he holding his side because he leaking. So as soon as he get close to dude, walking past dude see him back there hollering at West them, and dude just punch him in the face. Boom! And he a little bitty dude. Polo could have grabbed him and broke him in half, but I guess Polo was so in shock and trying to get to the hospital that he just like looked at him and just brushed it on off like, get out of the way. You know what I'm saying? You little dude, man, trying to hit me. And then he just walked on to the joint. He went to the gate and was telling the people some foolishness that he done fell down, in the rocks and stuff and cut himself up. But when he get over there to medical, the people see all the holes in him, they know that ain't the case. You know what I'm saying? They end up locking him up. They came back to the cell. When they seen the peoples was beat all up and knotted all up, they locked him up as well. So now all of this to transpire over these peoples, and now neither one of them got him because he going to jail and Polo going to jail. West the only one out on the yard. You know what I'm saying? It was crazy. So the people, to my understanding, ended up going back to jail, stayed back there for a couple of months on the investigation. wouldn't tell who beat him up or whatever. They end up letting him out, and they put him all the way on the other side of the yard. West wanted to be with him so bad now he felt like he done proved that he should be with him. That West ended up checking in himself, going to jail, just so he could go to jail and get out of jail, and say he didn't want to come back to the unit so they could put him over there in the unit where the people was. And that's exactly what happened. He ended up over there with him. I don't know where Polo ended up because he didn't ever come back. I don't know if they put him in the 3rd unit or whether he ended up getting transferred. But that's just the type of drama that be going on there, man, where people can lose their life over pure foolishness or just the lifestyle that they living in prison. It can happen at any time, man, to anyone. If they get involved with this foolishness, it goes on there all the time, man. I just remember that incident, man. It was just a crazy scene at nighttime, out there on the yard. They out there rumbling for a human being. You know what I'm saying? To be with a human being, man. It was just insane. You know, but like I say, times was changing in the prison. This is what was going on. And these young cats, you know what I'm saying? These was young cats, man. These cats was in their mid-20s or early 30s. You know what I'm saying? So it was crazy to me, man. And like I say, you had a lot of the yard, the night wreck. Oh man, that night wreck was dangerous. You know, because like I say, you got hundreds of dudes on the yard and no police. And it's nighttime. So if you got a beef with anybody, this is the best time to handle your beef because it's going to rely on the dude going and tell on you in order for you to get caught. Because if you do him dirty out there, and you know what I'm saying, if he don't tell who did it, they ain't gonna do nothing but just close the yard and lock everybody up. But it's hundreds of people out there. Who you gonna pick from? You know, they're gonna lock him up after he come from medical, if he need medical. But then they're gonna put him in lockup for investigation. And you know, within a day, everybody gonna be back to normal. Is you know, is regular wreck. You know, so the night wreck was it. It was dangerous, and it won't nothing to go out there at night wreck. And when they call the yard closed, to look and you see a dude laid out on the yard knocked out. You see a dude laid out on the yard bleeding. You see dudes running to the fence telling the people, man, open the gate, I'm bleeding, open the gate, I'm bleeding, I got stabbed. It was going down on that night wreck out there. So when you went out there for night wreck, if you had any sense or if you valued your life, you know, you would have to take the risk. Because when you go out for wreck and you come in, they got a person on the gate, an officer on the gate, usually 2 of them, this patting you down and stuff when you go out to wreck. They patting you down when you come in for wreck. You had to find a way somehow to get that Bethlehem out there on the yard with you because you want to have it out there with you because you don't know what's going to go down or if it's going to go down or when it's going to go down. So you had to find a way. You had dudes literally, they had their spots on the yard where they would bury their Bethlehem out there on the yard in the grass somewhere where they can just get through the shakedown and then go to their spot and get the Bethlehem and have it with them the whole wreck, and then when wreck over, put it back. So that's why you had officers that came out there during the morning time before the wreck yard ever opened, and they'll come out there with the metal detectors and walk the yard sometime, probably like once or twice a week. They'll walk the yard with the metal detectors looking for the Bethlehems out there because just like everything else, word of mouth, they got word that they be out there. Sometimes they'll find them. They definitely wouldn't find them all. And that's how it was going down on there, man. Dudes was getting crushed out there. I mean, savaged out there on that yard. And a lot of dudes ain't even want to go to wreck at night wreck because they were scared to go out there. You know, they go out there in the daytime, but they won't go out there in the nighttime. I heard plenty of dudes, man, they asked them, say, man, you going to wreck? Oh, man, I ain't going to that night wreck. Nah, they crazy out there. I ain't going out there. You know, and dudes ain't want to come out there. Then you had another set of dudes, they want to come out there because, like I say, most dudes want to see drama. They just don't want to be in drama. You know, so they want to see it. They come out there just being nosy, walking around, looking, seeing what's going on, seeing the people arguing, seeing the people fighting, you know. And I like, excuse me, I seen some vicious beatings out there at that night wreck. Vicious beatings, man. I seen one dude, he got knocked out, and the dude just sat on his chest. He already unconscious. Dude just sat on his chest and just pounded his face, man. It seemed like till he got tired. And nobody stopped him. Nobody got involved because it ain't nobody else's business. you know, and he just beat dude so bad, man, that when wreck was over, dude was still laying out there unconscious, man. And they had to come get that dude and helicopter him to the hospital, man, and say the dude was in a coma. You know, he beat that dude into a coma, you know, and that's why I say, you get in there, man, and you can't defend yourself physically, or you can't be prepared mentally to do whatever you got to do to somebody to keep them from doing something to you, man, you out of luck in prison. Because I'm going to tell you right now, mercy is far and few in between is dudes going to have mercy on you. And then when a dude do get the rumbling or do get the fight, he's going to try to do all he can to you to send a message to the rest of the institution that this is what's going to happen if you mess with me. So it's always vicious on there, man. And like I say, when the younger generation start coming in, because they start locking dudes up, man, I seen dudes on Greensville 17, 18, 20, 21, lots of them, tons of them, you know. So these mostly end up being the dudes who come in and they ain't in gangs and they just learning how to do time and get in time. They get involved with gangs because they want that protection. They want to have somebody with them to make sure don't nobody take advantage of them. Because like I say, it ain't no mercy in there. Dudes, even the predator dudes, they see them young dudes, they try to do anything to them, extort them, you know, turn them out, do anything to them, you know. So they get involved with them gangs just to protect themselves. But the irony of that is, the gang dudes be beating up their own dudes more than other people be beating them up because of the rule violation. They violated this rule, they violated that rule. And, you know, it was chaos, man, to say the least. And the whole time all this going on, all I'm trying to do is micromanage this phone and keep this phone, man, because like I said, man, now I got the newer version of the phone. I can get videos. I'm being able to see the streets. I'm being able to see places that I wouldn't been able to see or hadn't seen for so long. And it just was something that I wasn't willing to give up. And I had all my people telling me, the more and more as time went on, get rid of the phone. Get rid of the phone. You don't want the phone. I'm telling you, man, it's going to get you late. It's going to get you late. And I ain't even at least used to want to hear all that bad energy. Like I always say, feed the positive, stop the negative. I didn't want all that negative energy coming to me. So anybody who starts saying that on a regular basis, I stopped calling them, period. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't even want to hear it. Because I already had my mind. I was so locked in and so selfish that I wasn't going to get rid of the phone. And I always felt like, well, I'm a step ahead of them. They can't catch me. They can't catch me. I know they can't catch me because I stayed a step ahead of them, man. Even if I had to pay somebody to hold the phone. I remember one time a dude was in there with me and he slept a couple of cells with me. He had a cast because he had broke his arm. Man, I used to give him the phone when I felt certain type of way of paranoid at nighttime. I used to give him the phone at nighttime and let him hold the phone for me, and I used to pay him. He used to put the phone in his cast, you know. So you find a way, man, to do what you got to do when you trying to get by in there, man. But you know, like I say, it was a lot of lessons learned in that. As I told y'all, man, you know, down the line, I ended up getting towed off for the phone for no fault of my own, was because of my old seller, Shine. You know, his people end up saying something about the phone when she came up there to visit him, and she ended up getting late, you know, and they threatened her and gave her all of this game about what they're going to do to her, how many charges she going to get or whatever. And she eventually said, well, if you don't call the police, you know, I'll tell you somebody who got a phone. And by her saying that, she told on me, they ran down on me. That's in the other story that I told y'all. That's how I ended up getting tore off with the phone. That ended a 5-year run for me, man. And I was highly upset, to say the least. You know, and bad thoughts went through my head about it because I ain't never do nothing to her. I don't know why she sacrificed me, but that's just the way the game goes. You know, Shine, you know, he said he had no idea, you know, da-da-da-da-da. He ended up going to jail himself, you know, but that was the last time that I ever even saw him, you know, because like I say, when you get locked up for the phone, you going back there, you get convicted, you know, which I eventually beat that charge on appeal. But when you get convicted alone, boom, it's on to the next level, the higher level of prison. So, you know, that was how I ended up, you know, going back to Sussex 2. You know, I left Sussex 2, came to Greensville, to a lower level, ended up going from Greensville back to Sussex 2, back up another level. You see what I'm saying? Years later. So back up to a 4, man. I had worked my way down to a 3. Here I'm going back up to a 4, right back to where I just came from, the place that I didn't even want to leave when I was there. But now it's years later, and you know, I done got introduced to this phone. It's new. Now I'm fascinated with it. You know, even though I done got tore off with it, you would think that would be enough to make me leave it alone with what I had to go through, being in the hole, getting transferred, all this and all that. Hard head, man. Hard head. It was like I say, it was addicting. I was locked in. I was locked in, man. I needed another one, and that was the only thing that was on my mind. And I just figured in my mind, like most people do, well, I know better this time. I know not to let nobody know. I got to keep it all to myself and all of this and all of that. Nah, don't none of that work, man. But yeah, I was on my way back, man, back to Sussex 2, which would be my second stop there, you know. So it's a lot, man, a lot more that happened on Greensville. Like I told y'all, I'm giving y'all the stories that's fresh in my mind. The first thing that came to my head as I sat down here to make these videos, I gave y'all all of the parts that was fresh in my head. There's a lot more, and I'm quite sure I'm going to revisit, you know, Greensville, pick up on some other stories and some other characters that was in these stories that was on this place, and give y'all that as well. I just wanted to touch on the parts that was fresh in my mind, man. I told you I never sit down here and know what I'm going to say until I'm down here. So I just tell y'all what's fresh on my mind from my memory. But I know it was a lot more happened on Greensville, a lot more, and a lot more come to me as I think about it and process it in my head. Because Greensville was crazy during this time, man. It was even, I can't say if it was crazy at first or the second time. I can't really say. And I ended up on there a third time as well. So Greensville played a big part in this bit for me. You know, these 33 years, Greensville played a big part in my learning process, big part in me understanding how to do time, big part in me knowing what to do and what not to do and when to do. So yeah, man, and like I say, so much went down on Greensville, so much, man, is bogged up in my head that I could tell y'all about. A lot of these stories I told y'all about already was from Greensville. That's why I didn't want to rehash them. I told y'all about how I got caught with the phone and what the process was. I told y'all about Kitchen Man, you know, and other things that happened on Greensville as well. So yeah, I will revisit Greensville. I just wanted to get this video out to y'all. Hope you like it. I hope you get something out of it. Like I said, man, in every lesson there's a blessing, man. And the blessing is, man, that situations could have turned out a lot worse for me, you know, on there, even with that phone, because like I said, I ended up beating the charge. As far as them giving me more time, it wouldn't have really hurt me because of the time that I already had, but it would have bagged me up further from going up for parole, which, you know, like I said, I went up when I was there. Didn't even get to that part, but I did go up when I was there. Obviously, you know, I got turned down. The first time that I went up, you know, 2005, and I got a 3-year deferral. So I couldn't even go up for 3 more years. First time I went up, they not only turned me down, but they gave me a 3-year deferral, which was crazy, you know, mind-boggling. But I dealt with all of it, man. I processed it, man, and I moved on to the next step. Being, you know, herded off like cattle again. Wherever they want to send you, this is where you're going. You have absolutely no say, absolutely no control. This is prison, man. You're giving up your life. You're giving up your liberty. You're giving up everything when you locked up in there because you have no control. The only control you have in prison is the control of how you protect yourself. That's it. Everything else, they're going to tell you what to do. They're going to tell you where to eat. They're going to tell you where to sleep. They're going to tell you when to sleep. They're going to tell you when to eat. They're going to tell you when to shower. You know, when you can do everything. So the blessing is, man, that I came through it, man. I learned from it, and now I'm trying to get these lessons back. So hopefully y'all listening. Hopefully this reaches somebody. Hopefully it puts it in everybody's mind that prison is not a place that you want to be ever. Not for one day, not for 1 minute. You know, never relinquish your freedom, man. It's the greatest thing you have. And to be locked up, to me, is the lowest form you're going to be on while above ground, because you don't have your freedom. And everybody is afforded that freedom, man. So don't submit it to nobody. But anyway, man, I appreciate y'all rocking with me, man. TVP, salute. I appreciate all of y'all. I appreciate the love. We're going to keep it rolling, man. The next stop, Sussex 2. One more again. So y'all be safe out there. Be smart, man. Make good decisions. And hold on. We coming soon, man. And boom. Duck that hook.
The bacon special.
Yeah.
Pure deliciousness.
Pure deliciousness, man.
My name is Banky, man. Everybody calls me Banky. That's the name that I got from my grandmother when I was young. I'm coming out here after 30 years. Yeah, I ain't got nothing, but I'm gonna have something because I'm rich in personality, you know. And I'm rich in love. My family love me, and that's really all that counts.